There are pros and cons to Yoni steaming, and I'm going to break down some of the cons and some of the pros. Here are some of the cons to Yoni steaming. One of them is the cost factor. How much does it cost to Yoni steam and Yoni steam consistently? Two, you have to think about, are you allergic to the herbs that are in the Yoni steam, and can you get an allergic reaction to them, which a lot of women do? And three, you could burn yourself. So when we're looking at the cost factor, do you want a Yoni steam at home, or do you want to go to a spa? Usually if you go to a spa, those sessions are between $50 to $75 per session. If you're committed to Yoni steaming, that can be costly for some women, which is why a lot of women do the at-home Yoni steaming, like the pink seats or the thrones. I've got a throne. So the cost factor is really important, and it all depends on kind of where you are. If you can financially afford to do some extra self-care by going to I think in Atlanta, there's Heal Thyself. They do Yoni steaming, but you want to go somewhere to get your Yoni steam. That's just what it's going to cost you. And you should go at least twice a month. So you're looking at $100 to $150 a month or something like that. So these are some things to consider, the cost factor. Now, the allergies and the reaction to the Yoni steam is where people get very, very concerned, specifically doctors. So when you're Yoni steaming and you have some type of flower allergy, a lot of women have very sensitive yonis. The flower allergy can cause a reaction. You can itch. It can start to burn literally while you're sitting. And I don't fire burn, but it's like an infectious burn. And a lot of women have different reactions to the steam. It's not that the Yoni steaming is bad. It could just be an allergy. If you're allergic to shellfish, it's not that the fish is bad. It's just your body doesn't digest it well and you have a reaction to it. The same thing goes for the Yoni steam. So if you're allergic to certain flowers or certain herbs, then you can't have that in your Yoni steam. It's very important to talk to whoever is creating those herbs for you, or if you go to a spa, to let them know, I have a flower allergy. And if you don't know, do an allergy test. Believe me, they'll let you know if you're allergic to any type of flower. So that's important. Some of the herbs don't include flowers. They include just different types of herbs, and you won't have a reaction to it if you want to really focus on wellness and using Yoni steams. You do not have to have flowers in them, okay? And the third thing, which is the burning. So when you are making your Yoni steam, right, you're boiling it over the stove. I say boil it, cook it for 5-10 minutes, and you do it for 5-10 minutes, and then you pour it on to either a pot that you'll sit over or the pink seats, and you let it cool off. You cannot just sit over something that's too hot. In my other Yoni steam, how to Yoni steam video, I show you how to make sure you don't harm yourself. But this is a problem because some women, they put too much hot water over it, or they sit over the water and it starts to burn them. You cannot be uncomfortable when you're Yoni steaming. I mean, it's self-care. It's supposed to be relaxing. You can't be overly hot or burn yourself, especially with boiling hot water. So these are some cons of Yoni steaming, and there's ways around those cons. In other words, remember, you can find out if you're allergic to flowers. Make sure you can afford the Yoni steam if you're going to a spa, or you want to get order your steams from someone else. Make sure it's something that you can afford and you can be consistent when Yoni steaming. And then, of course, be careful when you're actually steaming your Yoni. You want to make sure that you are not boiling the water way too hot and sitting over boiling water. You don't want to burn yourself at all. I mean, I know I keep repeating burning because that happens way too often. And then women I'm never going to Yoni steam again. That's not a reason why you shouldn't Yoni steam. You should absolutely do it, but just do it carefully. Let's talk about some pros. They balance our hormones, helps with our period, especially those of us who have heavy bleeding during our cycles and we have painful periods. Yoni steaming helps with that a lot. It also helps with elasticity in the vagina. So what does that even mean? Well, the older we get, we do lose some elasticity in the vagina. In other words, we can get a little tight. It's not as wet as it normally is. Back in our 20s, we could snap our fingers and there goes the flood of the water. And sometimes if it's too tight, it can be really difficult when you're having sex because it makes sex a little bit more painful. So you need that elasticity to be able to have more, of course, enjoyable sex. Another great thing about yoni steaming is it helps with fertility. I am really big on that. I'm a big fertility advocate. And when it comes to self-care and preparing the body to carry a baby, it is very critical that you keep on a yoni steaming schedule. In other words, we should yoni steam at least 2 to 3 times a month with the right herbs. You have to make sure you have the right herbs. When you're using yoni steaming for fertility, the best thing about it is when you can say your affirmations. I do that all the time when I'm just sitting on my throne and I'm praying. I'm saying my affirmations. I'm welcoming my child to me. And I do this mainly during the yoni steaming session. I even talk to the herbs and tell the herbs what I need it to do. I need you to prepare my body to carry my baby full term. I need you to heal anything that is broken in me. I need you to open the floodgates of my fallopian tubes to welcome the baby in during conception time. I tell the herbs, get those fibroids and shrink them and get them out of there, shrink those cysts, anything that I need those herbs to do, I say it out loud and I claim it during my yoni steam. So there's a lot of things you can do while you're yoni steaming to assist with your fertility. When it comes to like heavy periods, the reason why I tell women you should at least yoni steam twice a month at minimum is because you will see a difference. I talked about this in my other videos before about when I was super lazy when it came to yoni steaming and I still saw a difference in my cycle, but I literally can commit to yoni steaming at least twice a month because I'm so busy and I've seen such a difference in my cycles. I'm telling you, I'm not flooding pads like I used to. I'm not like having to change them every single hour because I was them girls, those overnight pads every hour, let's change them out. And I don't do that anymore. I buy regular pads, not the overflow ones, not the overnight ones, not the extra long ones because I don't bleed that much. And I believe I was able to reverse some anemia as well because I'd lose so much blood during my cycle. I'd get weaker, I'd be tired, I'd be cold. And because I don't lose so much blood during my cycle anymore, my doctor, specifically my GYN, said, I don't see where you're anemic because I'm not losing as much blood anymore. So there's so many pros of yoni steaming specifically for your cycle. These are things that you want to consider, and also make sure that you get the one for your cycle. Some women have endometriosis and they have PCOS, so the bleeding is extremely heavy, or women with fibroids. You have to really commit to changing your diet. And again, it could be a slight change, like cutting out some dairy. So if you know you're someone who eats cheese every day, maybe not every day, slowly try to take it out of your diet. I'm not going to tell you not to eat that slice of pizza because I will, but I will tell you that you want to make sure your diet is aligned with your yoni steaming because the yoni steaming can only do so much, but changing up a diet that's for whatever condition you have will be very critical in order for it to work together. And of course, I want you to be well and healthy. So if you're going to yoni steam, also work on the diet part as well.